The karma of the wife. The husband discovers her affair with the boss and divorces. Her welcome to the Reddit Journey channel. Always impactful stories. But before you subscribe to the channel. Comment and share this video with more people who like impactful stories like this. Let's get to the story. First story. On Sarah's 21st birthday, we were all at the local club in Nashville. I accidentally spilled my drink on her table while walking by, causing embarrassment. Initial apologizing. We engaged in conversation while I helped her clean up. Some might call it love at first sight. But I felt a unique connection between us, as if we were drawn to each other. Ever since that night, we became inseparable. A year later, we got married and we began our journey together. I am Jonathan Part. Although my friends call me Johnny, with a degree in accounting, I became a certified public accountant in a busy city like Atlanta, Sarah. And I found our home, close to our families. After dedicating years to honing my skills at a prominent firm, I eventually decided to go my own way and set up my own practice. Sarah, a business graduate, was by my side for the first 2 years, until she became pregnant with our lovely daughter, Angel. Our relationship was always special, marked by deep passion and appreciation. For every moment together, when Endel came into the world, our love expanded to include our precious daughter. Over the next decade, we lived a full family life, with me devoting my efforts to growing the business, and Sarah taking care of the home and our daughter. Our happiness overflowed in our intimate moments, happening at least 3 times a week. Our connection was based on true love and mutual sensual feelings, with no room for experimentation or rough play, as mutual respect always prevailed. Sarah enjoyed being pampered, and I found joy in taking care of her. However, she showed no interest in more intimate pleasures, and only indulged herself on special occasions. Possibly less than 10 times throughout our marriage. I never pressured her because I was satisfied with our life and valued our relationship. The attention that Sarah dedicated was one of the qualities that I admired most in her. From the moment we exchanged vows, she showered me with kisses and hugs, and never wanted to leave when we were together. The closeness we shared was extraordinary, and every moment was precious. Our friends often joked with us, saying that our affection would not last, but after a decade of dedication, they finally recognized the uniqueness of our bond. When Endel turned 10, Sarah expressed her desire to return to the workforce now that Angel had adapted to the routine and returned home from school promptly at 3:30 p.m. After long discussions, we reached an agreement and developed a plan to ensure that Endel continued to receive the attention she needed. Sarah got a job as a personal assistant to William Ashton, a lawyer 10 years her senior. The work hours were favorable, and Sarah was happy with the opportunity to take on important responsibilities, which increased her confidence. Found fulfillment in her new role, and I supported her fully over time. Our family grew stronger. We enjoyed a comfortable life in a luxury condominium with access to a country club thanks to our financial stability. We were able to save enough for Angel's college education and our retirement. Our lives were blessed with good health, financial security, and contentment, free from unnecessary worries. As one would expect, the dynamics of our intimate life changed after a decade of marriage, which is common in most relationships. We went from meeting 3 or 4 times a week to only twice, usually on Friday and Saturday nights. Although our routine became predictable, our love for each other remained strong, and we valued our closeness. Sarah continued to be attentive, constantly expressing her affection, which I deeply appreciated. The emotional closeness we shared over the years was as important to me as our physical intimacy. Sarah's spontaneous kisses and hugs, simply out of love, were incredibly meaningful to me and represented the pinnacle of our marriage. I reciprocated her love, but Sarah always made sure I understood how deep her affection was, as India got involved in the math club and spent extra hours at school, returning around 5 p.m. At the same time, Sarah also began extending her workday twice a week. This arrangement ended up being advantageous as it coincided with Angel's return home, aligning perfectly with my schedule. We were determined not to leave her home alone at that age, so we adjusted our schedules in a coordinated manner. Recently, William, Sarah's supervisor, was promoted to senior partner at his father-in-law's firm. With this promotion, Sarah found herself having to put in some extra hours at work 2 nights a week, returning home around 7 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. During these times, I made sure dinner was ready for her arrival after a day of work, folks. Despite these adjustments, everything else in our marriage remained unchanged. Meanwhile, my own business was thriving, providing a steady and satisfying income with the company now having 45 employees. I was fully occupied, expanding our operations. Our accounting firm had earned a reputation for excellence and was catching the attention of large companies in the area, some of which were considering acquisitions or mergers. Angel turned 15 and began to consider her college options and future plans. Sarah remained employed under William's supervision, keeping her aura looking as attractive as the day we met. The years that passed were kind to Sarah, as she managed to maintain her slender figure, enhanced by her long, attractive legs and shapely behind, while she had a lovely appearance. Sarah always exuded professionalism and conservatism. Our shared lifestyle could be considered dull by some, as we spent most of our time at home watching movies or attending family gatherings with our daughter as a family. We were inseparable, rarely going out without each other. William, Sarah's supervisor, contacted me and informed me that Sarah would be honored at a banquet the next month, and both I were invited. I excitedly told Andel that his mother would be awarded for her exceptional performance in her profession, as this award was a surprise we were asked to attend, although normally such events were reserved for employees, and we were asked to keep it a secret until the ceremony. Sarah's dedication over the past 5 years under the leadership William's experience not only improved her professional achievement, but also increased her self-esteem. This was evident in her more confident attitude at home. Knowing her diligence and the esteem she had within the company, we were proud to hear about the award. Sarah mentioned an upcoming business meeting at the downtown Carlton, where she would be working late to prepare a presentation for the entire company. She had been eagerly awaiting the opportunity and had dedicated many hours to preparing her presentation in the weeks leading up to the event. Unaware of our invitation or the imminent award, Sarah stood by while Angel and I kept the secret, eager for the ceremony. Anticipation grew as we prepared for the event. I accompanied Indel on an ID shopping spree for a new dress and purchased a new suit to ensure that Sarah's presentation would make our family proud. At the awards ceremony, Sarah wore a knee-length dress with an elegant cutout back, projecting professionalism and highlighting her graceful curves. Despite her 37 years, she radiated attractiveness and confidence before the limousine arrived to pick her up. Angel and I hugged her and wished her good luck with her presentation with 2 hours to prepare. We quickly got dressed and arrived at the venue on time. About 30 minutes before Sarah's presentation, a host greeted us and led us to a table in the center of the stage with a stunning view of the podium. Angel and I felt special, with everyone expressing their admiration for Sarah and pleasure in meeting us. We felt warmly welcomed and happy to be in the company of my wife and mother when the lights in the room dimmed, signaling the start of the event on stage. The spotlights illuminated the first speaker, who introduced the founder of the company, followed by the CEO. And then William's senior partner William gave a short speech highlighting the company's achievements before introducing Sarah and sharing some of the successes of the previous year. Sarah took the stage radiating beauty, and I could see the pride in India's eyes as she watched her mother begin her presentation with elegance and professionalism. Sarah detailed the company's achievements over the past year, describing its successes and ongoing projects. After approximately 10 minutes, she concluded her speech by handing the stage back to William, however, before leaving. William took her hands, bringing her closer as he addressed the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, he began, before Sarah left the stage. I would like to say a few words. Over the past 5 years, Sarah and I have worked closely together, and she has become an indispensable part of our organization and my professional life. I firmly believe that without her we would not have achieved the successes she described today. It is with great honor that I present Sarah with our highest award, a distinction from the President's Club. This honor is bestowed upon employees who exceed expectations and are recognized for their unwavering dedication to the company. Sarah received a grand prize and an envelope containing a $10,000 reward. With tears welling in her eyes, she accepted the award, graciously hugged William, and turned to face the audience, expressing her gratitude to everyone. Angel and I were equally moved, waking up with pride for Sarah. Those sitting at our table wrapped me in hugs, making this one of our most joyful moments, unable to contain the smiles on our faces when the lights came on indicating snack time. Grabbing a glass, I assured Angel I would be back shortly. I headed to one of the bars at the end of the room. Seeing the long lines, I noticed an empty bar near the stage, and headed over to get a double jack and a soft drink to Indel, feeling generous and generous. I smiled as I left a note of O in the tip box. I collected my drinks and turned to return to our table. But suddenly my world came crashing down. Something caught my attention on the way back, making me turn and investigate behind the curtains hidden from view. A couple were embracing passionately, although such behavior seemed inappropriate for the occasion. My gaze was drawn to the woman's attire. It was the same dress that Sarah was wearing. I turned for a moment, then froze in place. The couple engaged in a carnal kiss, showed no inhibitions. The woman wrapped her arms around the man's neck as his hand caressed her back without restraint. Their embrace hinted at an intimacy that suggested this was not their first experience of this kind. Clearly feeling safe behind the curtain, they allowed themselves to give in to feelings carnal. As I witnessed the scene unfold, I felt as if I was having an out-of-body moment, still and mobile, holding 2 glasses with my mouth half open. I watched intently until the couple finally pulled away, confirming my worst fears that the woman passionately kissing her boss William was indeed the love of my life. Sarah, at that moment, one of the glasses slipped from my hand, catching the couple's attention as they noticed the looks directed at them. An expression of surprise washed over Sarah's face, bringing reality back, as US feelings flooded, leaving me speechless as my stomach sank and a sharp pang pierced my heart, leaving me unsure of how to react, and I returned to our table holding the remaining drink as Saria caught up behind me before we reached our beloved destination. I just realized that Ewan were here for the awards ceremony. Thank you for coming. What you saw was not what it seemed. Let's talk later, okay? She pleaded with a silent nod, followed towards the table where Sarah was greeted with congratulations as Andy hugged and warmly congratulated his mother. I remained in stunned silence with an expression of sadness, unable to utter a word. Sarah mentioned that she had a few more tasks to do before joining us again. Noticing my altered expression, she tried to inquire after my well-being, but I just nodded, keeping silent for the rest of the evening. It was evident that I was not myself, and felt uncomfortable in the company of those around me. I could not shake what I had witnessed. It was more than a friendly gesture, in fact. Sarah and I had not shared such a passionate kiss in years. Looking back, it had been over 5 years since our last carnal moment, and thus reflecting on those years, I could not ignore the changes that had occurred. I felt that there was trouble coming, my reticence trying to engage in conversation, but I stubbornly kept my silence. Sarah, recognizing her mistake, tried to redeem herself by showing more affection, but I was not willing to accept her gestures. I tried to hide my feelings from Engel, but she noticed my suffering and wisely left me with my thoughts before going to bed. She whispered, "Daddy, if you need to talk, I'm here for you." She hugged me and kissed me, then went to bed without saying a word. I went to bed only to hear Sarah enter the room a few minutes later. "Johnny, are you okay, my dear?" Your voice was shaking with anxiety as she tried to comfort me. She climbed onto the bed and tried to hug me. I pulled away from her. "I know how you looked and I'm sorry. I don't know what to say, but it wasn't what you looked like. Please talk to me," she said in silence, consumed by anger, which began to overshadow my shock. I refrained from speaking. Because I had nothing to say to her, knowing that any word I uttered would only be hurtful and unproductive. She persisted in her attempts to console me, but I rejected her, falling into the worst nightmare of my life. The next morning, I woke up with sunlight streaming through the window, preparing myself for what I knew would be a challenging day ahead. Remembering the events of the previous night, I struggled to comprehend the situation. After getting ready, I returned to the room and found Sarah watching me, trying to act as if nothing had happened. "Good morning, dear. Did you sleep well?" she asked, oblivious to the gravity of the situation, ignoring her question. I got dressed. I looked at her before leaving the room, turning to her with a look of disdain. I spoke for the first time since the banquet. How long when she didn't offer an answer? Just looking at her hands, I left her presence to gather my thoughts during breakfast. My mind was in turmoil. I knew things would change between us, and I awaited the truth about her affair. Sarah, I understood the importance of honesty, knowing that any deception would be discovered. Our bond was always strong. She never gave me a reason to doubt her fidelity. Despite this, I had not noticed any change in our closeness. She still hugged and kissed me as she always did. How can she behave this way while she is involved in an affair? I am perplexed. If she is involved with him, how can she continue to show affection? For me, it is possible that the woman I adore is actually having an affair with William. Oh my God, this is terrible. I am in disbelief that this has happened to me. Sarah's explanation. The next day, I had a conversation with William, agreeing that what had happened would not happen again, and understanding that it was an isolated episode that we needed to overcome. In the following months, we often worked late into the night and soon found myself back in the comfort of William's embrace. I had no desire to cheat on Jay because I loved him deeply and did not want to harm our relationship. However, being with William was a unique experience, providing a feeling of security with his imposing posture. Despite lacking Jay's charm, Jay trusted me completely, so there were no concerns about me working alongside William at night. William's appearance at over 6 feet tall with strong arms and a robust frame contrasted sharply with his not-so-attractive appearance. The fascination with his physique, especially his physical build, captivated me from the start, leaving me yearning for more. Our encounters introduced me to sensations and experiences previously unknown, fueling a growing desire for closeness initially devoid of love or emotional connection. However, over time, our relationship evolved, creating a deep affection between us. Surprisingly, our relationship played a role in helping to save Will's marriage by relieving his domestic responsibilities. This arrangement allowed me to help William without jeopardizing Johnny's well-being, justifying my actions and alleviating my guilt. Meanwhile, my personal life remained fulfilling, devoting myself to the love and care of Jay and Angel with the promotion of Willem. Our meetings became more frequent, increasing to 2 nights a week, always in the privacy of his office. Despite the discreet nature of our relationship, we agreed to restrict our interactions to these designated times, ensuring discretion. Over the course of 3 years, we indulged in physical and emotional closeness, transcending mere physical gratification. His office became a haven where we explored our deepest desires, leaving me yearning for more with each encounter, while the intimacy with Jay represented love and tenderness. The connection with William was more intense. Pushing boundaries with each shared moment, balancing both relationships allowed me to satisfy different needs without guilt, as if I were living separate lives with distinct emotional connections. Notably, I found comfort in providing William with the same level of attention and affection that I gave Jay. Recognizing the importance of these gestures and nurturing desire during our private encounters, I took on the role of William's companion, embracing the unique dynamic we shared, ensuring that remained confined to our designated meetings. Neither of us wished to cause our spouses pain, so our bond blossomed into a deep friendship based on discretion and mutual understanding. Any initial remorse I may have felt disappeared, replaced only by a sense of accomplishment. I believed I had right in the life I led, at work maintaining professionalism at all times and keeping our relationship private. William often spoke affectionately of his children with family photos adorning the walls of his office, reinforcing his reputation as a devoted father and family man. In the same way, I projected an image of fidelity outside of our clandestine meetings, fulfilling my role as a faithful wife and devoted mother to John and Angel. Despite my devotion to Jay, I could not deny the satisfaction I found in my interactions with William. I valued our family life deeply and went to great lengths to protect it from any harm resulting from my actions. I naively believed that my time with William would have no consequences for our family life, until the revelation brought my mistaken assumptions to light. Jay's piercing gaze this morning revealed her awareness of the situation, proving her perceptiveness now faced with her direct question. I wrestled with the dilemma of revealing. Silently, she murmured yes again. I remained silent for a few moments before speaking. So you are telling me that during the last 3 years, those 2 nights when you worked late nights were the only times you got involved with William? Yes, it never happened anywhere else. And I have a lot to explain when you are ready to listen. So you are confessing that you had an affair with your boss twice a week for 3 years. It doesn't take a mathematician to calculate the frequency over 300 times. I assume you didn't limit yourself to just once. Each time, Sarah, you cheated on me over 500 times. Do you think any man could handle that? As the tears continued to fall, I continued. You both must have found it amusing to ridicule me as the unsuspecting man. I can only imagine the insults directed at me behind my back. Thank you, Sarah. I never imagined you were capable of this. You destroyed our marriage and my heart. Johnny. No, it's not quite like that, but it is. I interrupted abruptly, instructing her to stop getting up from the porch. I left there, tears streaming down, begging me to remain outwardly calm but furious inside. I retreated to regaining control of my emotions. The betrayal was unfamiliar territory, and I needed time to process, understand his words, and decide my next move. I needed someone to trust, and the only person left was my brother Tony. Although we had been close growing up, we had gone separate ways in life. Tony spent 5 years in federal prison for drug trafficking, getting involved in risky circles. On the other hand, I was a churchgoer, an accountant, law-abiding with a clean record. Although we didn't communicate often, Tony always counted on me for support. I was by his side during the trial, and I was able to reduce his mandatory sentence from 20 years to 5 years through my connections. That morning, I contacted him. Hey, Tony, it's me, your big brother. How you doing, bro? What's going on? You seem worried. Do you have something on your mind? Yes, it's complicated. Sarah cheated on me. I just found out. I'm feeling devastated and hurt. Drinking doesn't help. I just needed to vent to someone. Sorry for throwing this at you. What a difficult situation. I also care about Sarah. You know who it was and how it happened. I know who it was, but I still don't know all the details. I want revenge on this guy. I'm so mad that I could strangle my wife. Listen, I've met people who've been through this. I understand how you're feeling. You need to let go of that hatred. Go to the gym. Go for a run. Whatever helps you relax. I'll help you with that. I'll find out the facts and decide what to do. Stay calm, even if it's not easy. Call me tomorrow. Tell me what you find out. Trust me. I'm on your side. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate it. I'll call you tomorrow. On the way, I passed a mattress store and had an idea. I parked. I made the decision, knowing that I wouldn't leave the marriage. Until I went to college in 2 years. There was no way I could share a bed with Sarah again. I wouldn't leave my room. The rest would be sorted out later. I told the salespeople that I would pay full price for 2 full-size mattresses with assembly and delivery scheduled for today at 4 p.m. I texted India that I would pick her up and take her to school and wait in the parking lot during lunch. I gently brought up the subject of changes at home. What happened at dinner last night, Dad? Something seemed off. I'm not clueless. Please don't. It's not you, and you were honest with me enough given the severity of this. You deserve to know I caught your mother and her kissing backstage. Maybe it was just a congratulatory kiss. You can't overreact to a kiss. After our argument, she confessed to a 3-year affair. It's incomprehensible. Our dynamics have changed for 3 years. You have been considering divorcing your father from your mother permanently, but not immediately. I'm dealing with it. Let's go stay married. But there will be changes. It is important that you remain neutral, because she is your mother and loves you. This situation is between us. You have been a wonderful daughter, and I do not want your life to be affected by our mistakes. Please do not judge. Hastily know that we value you above all else, she cried. Recognizing the pain I felt, I did not want her to feel guilty. But it was essential that she understand the changes in our home. Sarah's surprise was evident when she saw us arriving together. By the look in her eyes, she knew what I had revealed. Anja gave me a disapproving look and retreated to the bedroom without saying a word. You told her she felt that something was wrong and deserves to know our lives will change. And she needs to understand why. You can explain when she is ready. What do you mean by everything changes? Divorce is not being considered at the moment. I want to see how things unfold. Besides, I would not do this to Angel. But things will definitely be different from today. Johnny, allow me explain and try to understand. You are my husband, and I love you. I love you, Sarah. I can't live with your betrayal. And you had sex with William more than 500 times in secret. That's all, Sarah. I don't know if there is anything you could say that a highly respected man would accept. You think I'm so weak. Obviously, you're not serious. What breaks my heart is losing the closeness that I valued. I will never share a bed with you again. I will miss making love with you, but not as much as your loving kisses and hugs that will be the most painful. Other changes are inevitable. You broke our vows and our marriage contract just like you. I will not be faithful anymore. I will look for another relationship. I never considered this before, so it may take a while until I find someone that I like you. You can continue seeing your lover, because you will not hear from me anymore. It was as if I had been punched in the head, visibly recoiling from my words, losing my balance and falling to the ground couch. Johnny, you can't see other women. It would destroy me and I won't allow it. I love you. It's not like it seems I understand that, but let me try to explain, Sarah, 500 times on the sly. And now you're worried about the consequences. You changed everything. Sarah, don't forget that all this happened because of your deceit, lies, and infidelity. At that moment, the doorbell rang. I led the installers and pointed them to the bed that needed to be disassembled. They started working. What is going on? Who are these people? Well, Sarah, how will we ever share a bed again? It wouldn't be fair to either of us to move to the guest room, so I bought 2 new beds. Our current bed is being disassembled now, and the new ones will be assembled later if you're not happy with the mattress you have. 3 months to choose another separate beds. Yes, as we will not be carnal. I don't want you in my bed. I can't believe you're doing this, and I can't believe you slept with your boss 500 sometimes in secret, so we are kits. I watched with sadness and regret as the men dismantled the bed we had enjoyed for so long. Tony, you won't believe what I just found out. Sarah has been having an affair with her boss twice a week for the past 3 years, so she has been with this man. Over 500 times behind my back. I must be the most clueless man in the world. She has humiliated me in ways I never imagined possible, and I am confused as to what to do. Who is this guy? Her boss. Will Aston. What do you want to do about this? I want him to suffer, to pay for what he did in the worst way possible. This man has been sleeping with my wife for years, then sends her back home to me. He cheated on me and humiliated me for 3 years straight. And I can't just let this go. And Sarah, she is dead to me. I will divorce her when Indian is in college, and until then, I will make her regret what she did now. She will live a lonely life, because I'm pushing her away. If she tries to divorce me before Angel goes to college, I'll ruin her career. And Isola, for everyone, you focus on Mr. Ashton, and I'll take care of things at home. Tony, I don't want you to get into trouble. Don't do anything that could land you in jail. Got it, bro. Don't worry about me. We'll talk soon after this. The tensions at home were evident. Sarah tried to talk, but I answered in monosyllables. Even though she tried to seek forgiveness, I remained hurt, furious, and determined. I buried myself in work, coming home late every night and spending weekends away. The atmosphere was tense, everyone walking on eggshells, anticipating my outburst when I returned home one night after a long day. I found Sarah waiting to talk after years of sharing a cam with the woman I loved. Now I slept just a few feet away from her was a grim realization, and I wasn't sure how I would handle it for the next few years. Until I left for college after my shower. As I snuggled into bed, Sarah asked Johnny, "How was your day?" "Well," I replied brusquely. "Johnny, I've been thinking. I want to talk to you and understand your thoughts. I know things aren't good between us, but I love you and I want to fix things, even if it's one step at a time. I was thinking about quitting my job. We really don't need the extra income, and I could spend more time at home with you. What do you think, love?" Despite my efforts to control my anger, hearing her speak kindly and try to reconnect ignited a fury inside me. I sat up, speaking harshly, ignoring her shocked expression. "Listen, Sarah, I couldn't care less what you do. Work, don't work. Sleep with your boss. Find someone new. Whatever. It's your life. Do what you want and don't call me dear love or anything else. Just Johnny, the more I think about it, the more convinced I am that you should keep your job and your twice-weekly dates with William, because I will never be with you again. I turned and laid my head on hearing Sarah start to cry, realizing the depth of the pain your betrayal has caused me. Johnny, you don't have to answer, but please let me speak. I can't express how sorry I am for hurting you. I want you to know that I still love you. The pain I have caused is unbearable. Not being able to touch, kiss, or hug you is destroying me. Your coldness breaks my heart. I miss you in bed. I don't know how to fix this, but I don't want to lose you. I'm here whenever you're ready to talk, and I'm ready to tell you everything. The action at home is affecting Angel. She is distancing herself, but can we please find a way to coexist without this animosity? It's not fair to her. She is leaving in a few years, and we don't want her last memories here to be filled with hate. I sighed, realizing she was right. Angel shouldn't have to put up with this, after a moment to Sarah's surprise. I gave in. Okay, mark an appointment and I will, but I'm doing this for Angel, not for you. Sarah's face lit up tears of relief now. Oh, thanks, Johnny. I'll take care of it tonight. The next day, she informed me she had found a therapist and had an appointment scheduled for the next day. Our joint session was scheduled for Friday at 3 p.m. I knew Sarah was right. If we were to avoid separation in the next 2 years, we needed to find a way to live in harmony. Angel was optimistic about couples therapy, looking forward to a chance to restore our family. It was the first time I had seen John smile in weeks and was excited about couples therapy. Her smile was genuine when I shared the good news with Sarah that night. She mentioned that after work, I would go out to dinner, avoiding spending time with her. But deep down, I longed to be at home with my daughter, missing her smiles, hugs, and calls from Daddy. Sarah came home emotionally exhausted after her one-on-one session. I met her in tears. I realized how hard it must have been for her to face the extent of her betrayal of our family. Yet I found myself without any sympathy or compassion for the woman who broke my heart. Later that week, my brother Tony called, hinting at outstanding favors from former cartel acquaintances. Although the cartel was known for its brutality, Tony assured me that justice would be served soon, leaving me with little need to know more during therapy. Sarah expressed her desire to rebuild our family emotionally and physically, while I shared my desire to move past the hurt and create a peaceful home for our daughter. Over the next few weeks, we made an effort to improve communication and participate in family activities. However, even with this effort, it was evident to everyone that the intimacy between us had vanished when Sarah learned of William's accident. She was shocked. Although William remained silent about the incident, Sarah suspected my involvement. Her close observation during our conversation about the incident showed that any progress we had made could be in jeopardy. As things calmed down, I realized that forgiveness was the way to move forward, creating a healthy family environment for our daughter. The police would discover the affair between Sarah and William and question me about the attack. However, no such investigation eventually occurred. The police classified the incident as an open case, and the perpetrators and motive remained elusive. As promised, Johnny began dating and staying out late into the night when Sarah tried to question him and realized it was best not to intrude and avoid causing trouble. Johnny clarified that they were married only on paper and lived together for the sake of their daughter. They gradually managed to maintain a polite facade with each other, making domestic life tolerable on the outside. Sarah finally realized the extent of the damage she had done to her husband without being able to undo it. Johnny preserved the appearance of family life by threatening to expose her affair to family and friends and make her life miserable if she sought a divorce before Angio left for college. Sarah felt married but lonely without the love she had once lived for. The hugs, kisses, and affection that had once defined her life were now lost, shared with two men who were not hers. She continued to lead a melancholy existence, knowing that her husband was having fun with another woman, which only increased her anguish, although therapy offered some comfort. Sarah followed a lonely path, knowing that Johnny would never forget her. Devastating betrayal, she acknowledged her own role in destroying the marriage, and the man she loved by her vanity, selfishness, and folly. Angel, who adored her mother, did not offer sympathy, instead reminding Sarah that she had brought this upon herself. Despite her love for Sarah, Angel could never forgive her for inflicting so much pain on her father. Meanwhile, William found himself unemployed and divorced. Living in a modest apartment on a tight budget, he gave away almost 70% of his possessions, and the house where his ex-wife Joy would reside for another decade, until their youngest son turned 18. Struggling with depression and physical limitations, he was ironically abandoned by both women he once loved and had affairs ending alone. Unwanted, just as his boss had promised. His severed limb served as a constant reminder of his affair with Sarah. A year after the divorce, William met a tragic end when he was hit by a truck. Witnesses claimed he walked in veering into traffic without looking back. Officially ruled an accident. Those close to him believed it was self-destruction. Sarah understood his despair and even contemplated a similar fate after the affair. Sarah and William never exchanged words again, both enduring the torment of his infidelity in different but equally agonizing ways. As soon as I left for college, Johnny came home with them. He initially wanted to wreak havoc on Nan's life, or an equitable division. Although he forgave her over the years, the love he once felt had irreversibly disappeared. Sarah was not surprised by the papers she signed without contestation, acknowledging her role in the dissolution of their union. Although her faith in love was shattered, she found solace in the prospect of a new beginning, determined never to stray again. Divorcing the woman he adored was excruciating for Johnny, carrying the remorse he longed to undo the past, or find forgiveness for Sarah. However, the specter of 500 haunted him relentlessly. They sold the house and divided the assets. Johnny began an affair with Tricia, a dancer 15 years his junior. Seeking distraction rather than love. Eventually, amidst the newfound joy, he discovered in sadness a partner worth cherishing. Sarah clung to the hope of reconciliation upon learning of Johnny's remarriage, but her remorse remained unrelenting despite dating. She never found love, her looks and spirit waning over time, though. Close to Angel, she never heard from Johnny again. Her life was marked by the pain he inflicted. Johnny made sure Angel's college expenses were covered, pursuing a career in psychology. Indian married a doctor and led a fulfilling life, the infidelity raising a large family. She maintained close ties with both Johnny and Sarah, diverging from her mother's path to forge a legacy of commitment and love. If you enjoyed the video, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with other people who like stories like this. Also watch other videos from the channel with themes that will be impactful and exciting, that will leave you thoughtful.